On the 27th of June, 2021, Nnamdi Kanu was arrested and brought back to Nigeria. A moment that shook the entire nation and instantly became global news. But before that dramatic turning point, he was living a lifestyle that many of his followers never truly saw. Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, was one of the most controversial and influential figures in modern Nigerian history. To some, he was a freedom fighter. To others, a political agitator. But beyond the speeches, the broadcasts, and the headlines, he lived a life surrounded by wealth, luxury, and mystery. A side of him the public rarely talks about. And tonight, we're going deep into that side. In this video, we uncover the expensive lifestyle of Nnamdi Kanu before his arrest. From the houses he stayed in, to the cars he moved with, the security around him, and the quiet luxury that followed him across borders. This is not about politics. This is about the man, the lifestyle, and the unseen world behind the microphone. Before his arrest, Nnamdi Kanu lived a life shaped by education, activism, and years spent abroad. Born on the 25th of September, 1970, in Umuahia, Abia State, he was raised in a traditional royal family and grew up in a strongly cultural environment that would later influence his activism. Nnamdi Kanu's educational journey began in Nigeria, where he attended primary and secondary school in Abia State before leaving the country to further his studies. He later moved to the United Kingdom, where he pursued higher education at London Metropolitan University. There, he studied political economics and international relations, building the academic foundation that would later shape much of his political ideology and public messaging. Before becoming a widely known activist, Kanu was involved in different forms of business and voluntary political work in the UK. He reportedly worked within the media and communications space, took part in diaspora political groups, and engaged in small-scale business activities like import, export, and consulting, common among Nigerians in the UK seeking financial stability. But his life changed direction when he became deeply involved in activism. Kanu later co-founded and became the director of Radio Biafra London, the platform that brought him international attention. Through this station, he broadcast political commentary, advocacy messages, and ideological teachings that attracted a massive following across the southeast of Nigeria and among the global Igbo diaspora. By the time of his arrest in 2021, Nnamdi Kanu was known as the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, a movement he helped build into a powerful political and ideological force. Though controversial, his influence was undeniable. He had gone from a university graduate in London to one of the most talked about political figures in Nigeria. Before his arrest, Nnamdi Kanu's financial strength came from two major sources: his personal ventures abroad and the massive wave of support behind his movement. Even though he already earned from consulting, small business activities, and media work during his years in the United Kingdom, analysts widely believe that the real boost to his finances came from the global sponsorship network supporting his cause. As IPOB expanded across continents, so did the money flowing in. Supporters in Europe, the United States, Canada, and Asia reportedly organized monthly contributions, fundraising events, and structured donation drives to finance the movement's operations. These funds were used to support broadcasts, logistics, legal battles, international lobbying, and media equipment. And at the peak of the movement's expansion, the numbers became even more staggering. In the year 2020, records and reports from diaspora groups suggested that over $5 million was donated towards his cause. This was one of the highest fundraising peaks in the movement's history, driven by followers who believed deeply in the mission and were willing to contribute financially to keep it alive. Despite this enormous support, Kanu was not entirely dependent on donations. His years in London had already given him income streams from private business ventures, advisory roles, and media-related activities. But when combined with a powerful sponsorship force of millions of followers worldwide, it created the financial cushion that sustained his lifestyle and amplified his influence. When it comes to Nnamdi Kanu's lifestyle before his arrest, one of the most quietly discussed aspects is his alleged real estate portfolio, a collection of properties said to stretch across borders, far from the public eye. According to reports and accounts from diaspora circles, Kanu allegedly owned 3 properties before his arrest. 2 of these were said to be located in the United Kingdom, where he lived for many years. Each of these UK houses was reportedly valued at around £800,000, sitting in respectable residential areas known for comfort, privacy, and easy access to London's urban network. These homes were described as modest on the outside, but equipped with the kind of upgrades expected of someone who lived a private but comfortable lifestyle, secure, modern, and maintained to support his media and political activities. In addition to the UK properties, Kanu was also allegedly linked to a third house in Kenya, where he stayed for periods during his travels. This property was believed to be worth around £100,000. While smaller and less luxurious than the UK homes, it was said to function as a discreet base, a place far from the spotlight and easy to move in and out of. When the estimated values of these three properties are combined, two houses worth £800,000 each, and one house worth £100,000, the total alleged value of his real estate portfolio stands at around £1,700,000. Whether all of these properties were purchased directly by him or through networks of supporters remains a topic of debate, but the picture they paint is clear. Before his arrest, Nnamdi Kanu lived a lifestyle far more comfortable and internationally spread out than many Nigerians ever realized. Another part of Nnamdi Kanu's life that has sparked quiet conversations is his alleged car collection. A lineup of luxury vehicles that reportedly reflected the comfort and influence he enjoyed before his arrest. According to multiple accounts, one of the most expensive cars linked to him is a Bentley Continental GT, a grand touring powerhouse associated with billionaires, politicians, and global elites. This Bentley was allegedly worth around 500 million naira, making it the crown jewel of his garage. With its handcrafted interior, roaring engine, and unmistakable prestige, the Continental GT is not just a car, it's a statement. He was also reportedly linked to two Mercedes-Benz S-Class sedans, each valued at around 450 million naira. The S-Class is a global standard for luxury, often used by presidents, CEOs, and top-tier diplomats. It is said that one of these S-Class models was primarily used by his wife, offering a blend of elegance, security, and quiet comfort as she moved around privately. Completing the lineup is a smaller but stylish vehicle, an alleged Mini Cooper, valued at around 40 million naira. Though much more modest compared to the Bentley and the S-Class sedans, the Mini Cooper represents mobility, simplicity, and a quieter luxury suitable for low-profile moments. When the reported values of these vehicles are combined, the Bentley worth 500 million naira, the two S-Class sedans worth 450 million naira each, and the Mini Cooper worth 40 million naira, his alleged car collection stands at a total value of approximately 1,440 million naira. Whether every detail is fully accurate or not, the picture painted by these reports is the same. Before his arrest, Nnamdi Kanu allegedly moved through life with a level of luxury and sophistication far beyond what most Nigerians ever imagined. Another part of Nnamdi Kanu's story that has circulated quietly, far away from official records and public statements, is the claim that he had an alleged hidden real estate portfolio in the eastern part of Nigeria. These properties, according to insiders and supporters, were not bought through business deals or public transactions. Instead, they were reportedly gifts from traditional rulers, wealthy individuals, and loyal supporters across the region. These leaders and supporters, who saw him as a symbolic figure and voice for the Southeast, allegedly offered him land, houses, and private compounds as tokens of loyalty, respect, and protection. Many of these properties were said to be located in rural communities, semi-urban areas, and strategic parts of the East, from Imo to Abia, from Anambra to Enugu. Though none of these properties have been officially documented in the public domain, reports claim that the total estimated value of these alleged Eastern real estate gifts could be over 800 million naira. These include private homes, small estates, undeveloped land plots, and secured compounds meant to serve as safe bases for movement and meetings. Some accounts even suggest that these properties were intentionally kept low profile, registered under loyalists, family members, or community custodians, to avoid public attention and ensure that they remained strictly within the network of his supporters. When placed together, this alleged hidden portfolio paints a picture of a man supported not just by followers abroad, but by powerful figures within the eastern region itself. People who believed in him strongly enough to part with land, homes, and prime property. Whether every detail is fully accurate or not, the narrative remains the same. Before his arrest, Nnamdi Kanu allegedly commanded enough influence that entire communities and respected leaders were willing to place real estate worth over 800 million naira in his hands. Another part of Nnamdi Kanu's lifestyle that quietly caught public attention, especially during his court appearances, was his taste for luxury fashion. Even in the middle of legal battles and political tension, he appeared consistently dressed in high-end designer clothing, sending a message that his image remained intact no matter the circumstances. Observers noted that Kanu often wore Versace, along with other premium luxury brands, during every court session. These weren't simple outfits. They were statement pieces, designer sweaters, shirts, trousers, jackets, and accessories that only people with deep pockets and international access could maintain. Reports and fashion analysts believe that Kanu allegedly spent hundreds of thousands of naira on every single designer outfit, especially those worn during high-profile appearances. Versace items alone at this level of exclusivity can range from 200,000 naira for basic pieces to over 1 million naira for full signature outfits, depending on the design and season. When you factor in multiple court appearances, international travel, and his general preference for luxury clothing long before his arrest, insiders estimate that he could have spent well over 50 million naira on luxury fashion in total. From designer shirts and trousers to luxury footwear, custom accessories, and high-end jackets. For Kanu, fashion wasn't just personal taste. It played into his identity, bold, visible, and powerful. His insistence on wearing luxury brands, even in the toughest moments, was seen by supporters as a symbol of resilience and dignity. To critics, it was a sign of extravagance. But regardless of interpretation, one thing is clear. Before his arrest, Nnamdi Kanu's wardrobe reflected a man who lived by a different standard. A man who allegedly spent tens of millions of naira to maintain a luxury image built on designer fashion and high-end brands like Versace. When people talk about Nnamdi Kanu, they often focus on the politics, the movement, and the controversies. But behind all of that is another side of his story, the charitable and humanitarian efforts connected to his name. Nnamdi Kanu has been associated with two primary charitable and fundraising initiatives that have played major roles within his movement. The Biafra Aid Foundation and the fundraising campaigns organized by the indigenous people of Biafra. These initiatives were created not just to support the movement, but to assist individuals, families, and communities in need. The Biafra Aid Foundation was widely known for focusing on welfare, emergency assistance, and support for vulnerable people across the Southeast and in diaspora communities. Supporters contributed funds used for medical assistance, relief materials, educational support, and humanitarian outreach. While the exact figures remain private, the foundation became a key pillar for those who believed in the movement and wanted to help others through it. More recently, the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, organized large-scale fundraising efforts specifically aimed at covering Nnamdi Kanu's legal and medical expenses. These campaigns drew support from across the world, from Europe to America, from Asia to Africa, with thousands of supporters contributing whatever they could. The money raised was used for court cases, legal representation, international lobbying, and medical treatment during his detention. For his followers, these charitable and fundraising arms were more than just financial tools. They were symbols of solidarity, a way of taking care of one another and sustaining the leader they believed in. And while the debates around his politics continue, one thing is clear. Through the Biafra Aid Foundation and the IPOB-sponsored fundraising campaigns, Nnamdi Kanu's influence extended into charity, welfare, and humanitarian support, touching lives far beyond the political arena. Today, Nnamdi Kanu remains at the center of one of the most controversial detention stories in Nigeria. After years of legal battles, court appearances, and nationwide debates, his current situation has become a subject of speculation, tension, and political sensitivity. According to some reports and circulating accounts, Nnamdi Kanu is being held in a high-security facility in Sokoto, under strict custody and controlled access. These accounts suggest that he is kept in isolation, monitored closely, and restricted from the outside world more than ever before. Though officials have not publicly confirmed the exact facility, the narrative remains consistent. His detention is tighter, more secretive, and more heavily guarded than in previous years. Supporters argue that his health has become a major concern, pointing to limited access to medical treatment and legal counsel. They claim he is kept under harsh conditions, with movements restricted and communication controlled. His lawyers, family members, and followers continue to push for better access, clearer information, and improved conditions. Despite the uncertainty surrounding his exact location and treatment, one thing remains unmistakable. Nnamdi Kanu is still in detention, still isolated from his followers, and still the subject of nationwide and international debate. His situation has become more than a legal case. It has become a symbol of political struggle, human rights concerns, and the unresolved tensions between the Nigerian government and his movement.